Hello, B&H. This is Arup again. What I'm going to do today, these are the final scenarios that I'm going to run. So the first scenario is, and I'm going to, let's talk about the personas first. Let's make this clear. So I am a representative. I'm going to play the role for both a Nikon and a Canon vendor, and this is my access to the portal. Okay, that's one persona. The second persona is Ruth from B&H department. She represents the returns department, the RO department, Ruth, okay? And the third persona is Victor, and he represents the AP department, the accounts payable department, okay? So three personas, three different browsers, so that we understand. So let's go ahead and run one scenario. This is the portal that B&H has developed for their vendors to go in and access some self-service capabilities. So one such scenario is, I do have a report, different reports. I have many reports in this case, my orders reports, where I can see the active orders, shipped orders, disputed orders. I can also see the invoices. Some of them are in draft mode, pending, finalized. Similarly, cases report that I'm opening up with B&H. So it so happens that I do see one of the invoices is not paid. I click on it and I get to see the report of that. Oh, I do see that invoice 105 is not paid. So what does I do is I can go in and create a case. So I will go in and create a case. And this, I want to assign this case is invoice 105 not paid. And I'm going to say B&H, can you please look into this invoice 105, it is still not paid. Okay, and few things you have to understand here is, let's put in some case origin. If it is email, the status is new. I'm not going to touch anything on that. The type is say account support. Priority is medium, which is fine. For contact, let's go ahead and put my name in there. This is me. I'm not going to put the account because that should automatically be populated. Few things. So I want this to go into the AP department, and the issue type is open invoice. This is the customization that B&H has done so that the proper routing of case happens. If the department is AP, it should automatically go into the AP queue. So let's go ahead and save this case. Beautiful. The case is, the case is assigned, and if you see, Victor has automatically got assigned to this particular case. The department is AP, and the issue type is open invoice. Okay. So now what Victor does is Victor can go in. This is Victor. Victor can just refresh his case tab, and he will see that the invoice 105 is not paid. So he goes into this, and he can actually see the details of the case for sure. And let's say he goes back and writes an email to Arup. Everything got automatically populated, and this is a feature from Salesforce, is that because the case owner is Victor, Victor can respond from his email address. Victor can also respond from the B&H support email address. And I recommend that to always use the support, because this is one single channel of communication, the support channel, email channel for communication. Okay, there is a template already done. You can remove this, for example, and say, we investigated, let's say, investigated, and you will be paid soon. So B&H responds to Arup that yes, we took proper care of that, and we are going to say that. And look at this. Now you'll see that they are able to send it straight from the case record and hit send. What I'm going to show you now is, since this is all being sent out, when Arup from Nikon goes to his email address, this is his email address, he can see that yes, B&H is responding. Now what Arup can do is that he can respond, Nikon can respond straight from their email, which I'm going to do right now. Thank you for your email. Case closed. And I have a rule. B&H has created a rule in Salesforce that if any email that comes with a certain verbiage, they're automatically able to close the case. So now, once I go into this case and I refresh this, you will see there's an automatic closure of case. Okay, so few automations you have seen here is the vendor, Nikon in this case, opened a case with B&H, mentioning that invoice 105 is not paid. It went to Victor. Victor took proper care of that, consulted with back office, responded to the customer, to the vendor, and then vendor replied back, and there's an automatic closure of the case. And he also saw communication happening through the case, all the feed and everything, emailing happening from the case, and also some of the customization that B&H did in terms of routing, automatic case assignment, open issue type, and everything else. So this is scenario one where the vendor opened a case and the communication happened. Now let's run a different scenario, okay? The scenario here is, in this case, this is Ruth's, is customer has returned a camera back to Canon, and I'm going to play the role of Canon, and customer has said, because B&H has understood that the customer has returned a camera back to the vendor, B&H is requesting credit from Canon, okay? And Ruth from the returns department is opening up a case. So now B&H is opening up a case. This is scenario number 2. So let's go ahead, and Ruth, in this case, this is Ruth, is opening up a case. Again, requesting credit from Canon USA, for example. Customer returned a camera. We have attached a debit memo to invoice 099. Please check. Thank you. Few things you'll see over here is that how the self-service capabilities of this portal, you'll be able to go in and print a debit memo straight from your invoice record of 099. So let's go ahead and put a case. Email is fine. Type is account support. Now in this case, let's say this is returns and the department is RO. Okay. And in this case, the contact, let's say we put Joanne. There you go. And that's all. And I'm going to save this record. Again, note few things. The issue type is returns, department is RO, and there is a debit memo. Ruth is mentioning to Canon that there's a debit memo that is attached to invoice 099. Let's save this record. Now a case is being created by B&H. So let's go back here. If I go to my support, and now I'm going to play the role of Canon, I'll refresh this case. Let's say all cases. And if I see over here, I can see definitely that, requesting credit from Canon. What Ruth can also do, she could have also done, is sent an email to Joanne saying that please take a look at this case. So why don't we do that first? So what I'm going to do, if you see this now, because I'm the only person here, so every email address you will see is arup.sarkar@salesforce.com, is because I'm playing the role of Victor, Ruth, the vendor, and I have only one email address. That's why you'll see the same email address being populated. This email address actually belongs to Joanne from Canon. Okay. So what I'll do again, I'll put the support email over here, and I'll say, please look into invoice 099. There is a debit memo attached. All right, and I'm going to send it. So at this point of time, if I go back to my email, I will see email communication from B&H. Ruth just sent an email out. I can go in and take a look at that particular case, which is also the same thing. And she's mentioning about a debit memo 099. So let me go ahead to my invoices record. This is the portal for Canon. And if I look into invoice 099, I can print my debit memo. She mentioned it, so let's go ahead and validate. This is just a verbiage. You can change or customize however you want to do it. And then if you do next, in a second, you'll see that the debit memo printing it up, the soft copy of that. And what I can do is I can click on it. I can download this debit memo. Now, Canon is seeing really a debit memo that got printed. And I can download it. I can print it. I can do whatever at this point of time. It's a self-service capability of exposing the debit memo on the portal on a particular invoice record. So I do see it. I'm really happy about this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to send a reply back to Joanne. I'm sorry, to B&H. Reply straight from here. Thank you, Ruth. I do see the debit memo. Case closed. Again, few automation. I'm expecting the case to be automatically closed. I validated the debit memo that's on this invoice record, and I'm going to hit send. What will happen now is Ruth can automatically see that this particular case will be marked as closed. So at this point of time, if I refresh this case, I will see the email communication that I just responded from Canon perspective to B&H will be attached to this right here. You see the thank you, Ruth. I do see the debit memo case closed, and the case is closed, and the status of the case is automatically closed, right? So you see how the two scenarios, one is the vendor Nikon opened a case from the portal, which is this one, right? And also B&H, the returns department, is also able to open a case, assign, and make sure that the vendor sees a debit memo to a particular invoice record, and the vendor verifies that, sends an automatic email, and the case gets closed. Now, a few things: printing of the debit memo, self-service capabilities, dashboard to the vendors. There's another thing that I wanted to mention over here is also that when B&H themselves has the capability to see different dashboards. Okay, so if I go back into my dashboards, now this is B&H's view, vendor dashboard, right? If you see, there are several dashboards that the B&H has at this point of time. Okay, so if you see this, the orders report, the accounts with invoices report, the cases report. So at any point of time, B&H people can go in and see how many cases they can group by, they can see what is working, they can see number of them are closed, they can see the age of each of these cases. So you can see some trends going on. For example, if you see some of these cases are getting closed quickly, some of these cases are taking 0 days, some of the cases are not getting closed quickly, what could be the reason? So you can gain some intelligence out of these reports that the B&H can get some intelligence out of these reports. Now, these are very flexible. It's not necessarily that you can slice and dice. You can have different grouping of different data points in order to surface up these reports in your dashboard. But it all depends upon your use case. But the idea here is to see on a summary level, like what's going on in terms of cases. Also, you can see what's going on in terms of invoices or orders. Okay. So hope that was insightful in terms of the communication from the vendor portal perspective, from the vendor perspective, from the individual departments of B&H perspective, and how everybody is going to be seeing the same data point, and how quickly and easily and most effective, and the most important thing is to, how quick the timing factor of this, right? How timing, and also the self-service capability of vendors doing certain things that B&H has developed on the portal to make them more independent and reduce the back and forth communication of the different departments of B&H and the vendor. With that said, thank you very much. Hope to talk to you soon.